Hey, welcome to My Mama Summer. My name is Aimee Devlin. I'm an unconventional millennial mother living abroad, building a business and raising children while stepping into who she's meant to be. This podcast is an audio version of my newsletter, which you can find at mymamasummer.com. The episodes are short, wholehearted reflections of my life as a mother, business owner, and everyday human committed to being the best she can be. Pop in your headphones, grab a cuppa and a cookie, and take this time to just be with me. I'm always astounded by the outrage after an election. It doesn't matter who, quote, wins. There's always someone who's butthurt. You know, the person who proceeds to lash out and vomit the contents of their psyche over the people around them who are living their best lives. The projection is real. It's guilt, shame, disgust, and outrage with division at its core. And I'm so curious why humans continue to fall for it. I wonder if it's because it's always more palatable to believe someone is going to save us than to admit the truth, that they aren't and they can't. We are so addicted to giving our power away and pointing the finger at the, quote, bad people that we don't realize the world is this way because of us. Yes, you and me, us. And when you sit with that sentence, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's also the seed of something amazing, if you allow it to be. If you've built your personality by taking on external beliefs and ideologies as your own, you don't understand what I just said. You're still looking for someone to blame. But if you've built your personality by asking questions, thinking critically, and changing your mind as you receive new information, you'll be nodding with a knowing as you hear my words. I don't fit the mold. I never have. I've never voted and never desired to, even though it's, quote, compulsory in Australia. As a whole, Australians aren't a political culture. We'd rather be at the beach. Perhaps this is why we're coerced to vote through the threat of punishment. Yes, in Australia, if you're registered to vote and you don't, you'll be fined unless you give a valid and sufficient reason for not voting. No, I don't know if politics being an absolute farce is considered a valid and sufficient reason, but you could test it out and let me know. If you don't pay your fine, it'll keep increasing, and soon you won't be able to renew your car registration or your driver's license. How wonderful. Now, I'm told those from the USA consider voting to be one of the key freedoms of American life, which is why they show up to rallies, wear badges, and erect signs of their allegiance on their lawn. Meanwhile, the Aussies show up 10 minutes before closing to draw a dick on their paper, just so they don't get fined. Compulsory voting is an interesting beast. I vividly recall the moment when I was 17, a flicker away from graduating high school, and sitting in history class when an electoral official entered our classroom, threw green pamphlets on our desks, and requested we sign and hand them back to her so she could return them to her overlord. We were told it was, quote, compulsory to enroll now that we were turning 18, and being my rebellious and reflective self, I sat and stared instead of signing. And when she asked for my pamphlet, I told her I'd take it home to think about it. My predominant thought was one of disbelief, that I, a girl who just wanted to dance, write, and gossip with her girlfriends, was considered responsible enough to vote. It seemed ludicrous and irresponsible, especially as the electoral official drummed it into us how important our votes were to be. That was 23 years ago, and I've never voted, and I still don't care to. From where I stand, it's even more insane to have 18 or 21-year-olds voting nowadays because they're infinitely more confused, brainwashed, and immature than I was all those years ago. I later realized what a badass move it was to not sign the paper that day. I hacked the system before they got to me. Most Aussies I speak with don't even remember how their name got on the electoral roll. They don't want to vote, but they can't get their name removed. So they, like so many others, choose to either show up or cop a fine. I hold firm that it's ridiculous to be coerced to choose between two people you don't know, like, or trust, and request for them to rule over you for an arbitrarily specified amount of time, especially if you've done any form of research into the two wings of the bird and the grander workings of the machine. I've always thought there must be a better option then, as the writers of South Park put it, choosing between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
This is Debate 2004 with your host, Jim Lehrer. Welcome to the cable access televised debate between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. We'll start with giant douche. Sir, some students and parents are reluctant to have a giant douche represent them. What do you say to those people? Jim, first of all, I would like to thank you for monitoring this debate. And I would like to thank all of the students and their parents for coming.
Suck up! Suck up! Shh! What? That's an obvious suck-up move.
But I would hope that those students and their parents who question my qualities would simply look at my opponent. He is a turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
No, sir, if you'll pardon me, you are in fact the turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
Sir, you are a turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
Turd sandwich, I will ask you not to speak out of turn.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Anyway, as I was saying, wait, I forgot what I was saying.
Ha! What a douche.
All right, turd sandwich, this next question is for you. How should South Park Elementary enforce its laws of conduct for young athletes during sporting events?
My opponent wouldn't even know the answer to that question. If you ask him the same question, he would not answer it. He would stand around and just babble on and on about nothing until finally he was saved by the buzzer that...
Your time is up, turd.
One such alternative option, if I may naively share, would be having people vote on their answer to various individual issues or questions, such as, should we stop adding fluoride to the water? Yes or no? Should we abolish income tax? Yes or no? Should we feed nourishing meals to kids at school? Yes or no? Should we subsidize homeopathy? Yes or no? Should we spend your money bombing innocent people? Yes or no? I think that would be a spectacular plan, and I don't have a politics degree, nor do I want to debate about it if you're busting to tell me why that plan wouldn't work. I've always felt confused by having to choose a side. What do you mean I have to want a homestead, protect myself with a gun, and worship Jesus? What do you mean I have to want to feed the homeless, care about the environment, and pretend that men can have babies? We see this all the time with politics in the USA. We're presented with the false dichotomy. Are you a Democrat or a Republican? How about I choose my own beliefs? Newsflash, there are other options to choose from. I don't want any part of your boxes that only serve to divide. Thank you. Devlin, a writer on Substack, echoes my thoughts beautifully in her note when she says, liberals are already starting to judge me simply because I am retaining inner peace in response to the election. See, this is part of the problem. As soon as you don't agree with one thing in mainstream liberal thought, they tend to assume you're a Christian, conservative, Republican voter, and even that you are heterosexual. This is why so many people are turned off and leaving the left. I am very sure the Republican Party has gained more voters this year because of how deeply liberals alienate their own kind. There are too many requirements for how you must speak and behave. It's quite frankly annoying, and it's part of why I have distanced myself from these circles. There is never any room for rational conversation because they have already painted you as a villain due to your differences. So much for diversity and inclusion. 23 years ago, 17-year-old me said something my classmates didn't. That I should take time to think about this decision, and that politics is a farce and no amount of voting is going to change the world. So how do we change the world? Well, my friend Eileen McKusick put it so eloquently in a recent heartfelt video that I decided to add my visuals to her words and share this with you instead. You'll find the video of this on my YouTube channel if you want to see the visuals for the video that I've dubbed Why Politics Won't Save Us. If you're purely listening to this, the words are enough. Enjoy, and please share this video and episode with the people who need to hear it.
Probably for your whole life, you've been handing your chain to somebody and asking them to deliver you, to save you, to be nice to you. You gotta take the chain back. You gotta take the chain off, just off, and realize that the media lies to you to emotionally manipulate you, to divide us. And if you've been emotional over this election, I can guarantee you that you have neglected your own life. You have neglected the people in your life, that you have subjected them to your emotionality and your self-righteousness in that emotionality. Your house is probably a mess unless you clean to handle stress. What haven't you been attending to that you actually have power over, including your own emotions and what you subject yourself to and how you react? What we have going on is this huge shadow projection. It's all in our own minds. The drama, the emotionality, it's all you. And you can point fingers and you can say, no, it's that, it's them, it's this horrible character, it's this idiot. Just like in a dream, and everything that you look at is you. Life is like that. It's all you. And honestly, the only thing that we can have that makes any sense for bad characters is compassion over their inability to confront and deal with their own shame. We're going to keep blaming. We're going to keep finger pointing because it's a lot easier than dealing with what's underneath that. Our unintegrated shadow side, our undigested emotions, our unhealed traumas. We don't fix the world by politics. Fix the world by integrating and bringing into deep compassion the most shameful parts of ourselves. Yeah, it's not easy, but you're going to keep being jerked around by out there, emotionally manipulated, and unable to realize your own greatness. We are the heroes that we are looking for. It's you. You are the hero. It's in you. Liberate that part of you by taking the chain out of anybody else's hands and just taking it off. And that brings you to God, to life, because life is free. Life is free. The birds move around, the rivers flow. We're part of life. We're meant to flow, not be contained by this madness. The madness goes away out there, and we heal in here. Bring it to love. Bring it to compassion. Bring it to God.
If you enjoyed this episode and like reading as much as you do listening, I would love to welcome you as another subscriber to my newsletter. Head on over to mymamasummer.com to subscribe and let me know what you loved most about this episode. I love hearing your feedback. It's my favorite part of sharing what's on my heart. I'll see you over there. Have a beautiful day.